I'm going to play a clip from a Catholic apologist that I like listening to. His name is Dr. Taylor Marshall. He explains how the Antichrist will, in fact, be Jewish. But there's some good news. In the end, the Jews will repent and accept Jesus Christ as the Messiah.
You know, we talked before, will the Antichrist rule from Rome or will the Antichrist rule from Jerusalem? There is some debate on that, but the majority position in the Catholic tradition is that the Antichrist will rule in Jerusalem. This also makes sense because, as we just saw, Christ will destroy and kill the Antichrist where? The Mount of Olives. The Mount of Olives is across the valley there at Jerusalem. So the Antichrist is going to be Jewish. He's going to enforce some perverted form of Judaism, and he's going to set himself up as Messiah and God in Jerusalem. There's another interesting prophecy that comes from Our Lady of La Salette. As you know, Our Lady of La Salette has some controversial things in it. It says, for example, Rome will lose the faith and become the seat of the Antichrist. It also talks about the church going into eclipse. It says the church will be in eclipse. But before those passages, there's an interesting passage about the birth of the Antichrist. And it reads like this. It will be during this time that the Antichrist will be born of a Hebrew nun, a false virgin, who will communicate with the old serpent, the master of impurity. His father will be B. At birth, he will spew out blasphemy. Goes on. So, according to Our Lady of La Salette, the Antichrist will, of course, be Jewish, but will actually be born of a Hebrew nun, and his father will be B. And I've looked at different versions and manuscripts, and it always just has the letter B there. I don't know what it means. I saw one person comment that is short for a bishop. I don't know if that's true or not. It could be B for Beelzebub or someone named B. But here it says that the Antichrist will be born in an unholy fornication. A woman consecrated, presumably as a Catholic nun, who gives birth to the final Antichrist. Also, the Antichrist will rule for 3.5 years, 3.5 years. This is covered in Daniel chapter 7. It's also in the Apocalypse, book of Revelation, chapter 11, chapter 12, and chapter 13. So half of a 7, 3.5. In fact, if you read the Apocalypse, it looks like there'll be a 7-year period. Halfway through the 7, 3.5, Enoch and Elias will appear. Thomas Aquinas teaches this. St. Robert Bellarmine teaches this. Many of the church fathers teach it because Enoch and Elias have not yet died. According to Thomas Aquinas, they're beyond the atmosphere somewhere. What does that mean? It's hard to know. But they will return because they haven't died yet. They will preach the true gospel. And at this time, the Jewish people will reject the Antichrist as a false Messiah, and they will convert into the Catholic Church. There will be an eschatological conversion of the Jewish people to the one true Christ. This will infuriate the Antichrist, and he will begin a 3.5-year torture period of tribulation upon the earth. This is the great and final tribulation. At the end of this, as we read in 2 Thessalonians from Paul, Christ will descend and he will slay the Antichrist.